Hello, it is January 16th, and we are going to start off like we do every night with the Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Deliver us from evil, for thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Tonight we're going to be reading Genesis 32:13 through 33:11, Matthew 11:7 through 30, Psalms 14:1 through 7, and Proverbs 3:21 through 26. January 16th, Genesis 32:13 through 34:31. He, Jacob, slept the night there. Then he prepared a present for his brother Esau from his possessions: 200 female goats, 20 male goats, 200 ewes, and 20 rams, 30 camels with their nursing young, 40 cows and 10 bulls, 20 female donkeys with 10 male donkeys. He put a servant in charge of each herd and said, "Go ahead of me and keep a healthy space between each herd." Then he instructed the first one out: "When my brother Esau comes close and asks, 'Who is your master? Where are you going? Who owns these?' answer him like this: 'Your servant Jacob. They are a gift to my master Esau. He's on his way.'" He gave the same instructions to the second servant and to the third, and each in turn, as they set out with their herds, say, "Your servant Jacob is on his way behind us." He thought, "I will soften him up with a succession of gifts. Then when he sees me face to face, maybe he'll be glad to welcome me." So his gifts went before him while he settled down for the night in the camp. But during the night he got up and took his 2 wives, his 2 maidservants, and his 11 children, and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. He got them safely across the brook, along with all of his possessions. But Jacob stayed behind by himself, and a man wrestled with him until daybreak. When the man saw that he couldn't get the best of Jacob as they wrestled, he deliberately threw Jacob's hip out of joint. The man said, "Let me go, it's daybreak." Jacob said, "I'm not letting you go till you bless me." The man said, "What's your name?" He answered, "Jacob." The man said, "But no longer. Your name is no longer Jacob. From now on it's Israel," which means God wrestler. "You've wrestled with God and you've come through." Jacob asked, "And what's your name?" The man said, "Why do you want to know my name?" And then and there he blessed him. Jacob named the place Peniel, God's face, because he said, "I saw God's face to face and lived to tell the story." The sun came up and he left Peniel, limping because of his hip. This is why Israelites to this day don't eat the hip muscle, because Jacob's hip was thrown out of joint. I did not know that. Jacob looked up and saw Esau coming from his 400 men. With his 400 men. He divided the children between Leah and Rachel and the 2 maidservants. He put the maidservants out in front, Leah and her children next, and Rachel and Joseph last. He led the way, and as he approached his brother, bowed 7 times, honoring his brother. But Esau ran up and embraced him, held him tight, and kissed him, and they both wept. Then Esau looked around and saw that the women and children, and who are these with saw the women and children, and who are these with you? Jacob said, "The children that God saw fit to bless me with." Then the maidservants came up with their children and bowed. Then Leah and her children also bowing, and finally Joseph and Rachel came up and bowed to Esau. Esau then said, "And what was the meaning of all the herds that I met? I was hoping that they would pave the way for my master to welcome me." Esau said, "Oh, brother, I have plenty of everything. Keep what is yours for yourself." Jacob says, "Please, if I can find it in your heart to welcome me, if you can find it in your heart to welcome me, accept these gifts. When I saw your face, it was as the face of God was smiling on me. Accept the gifts I have brought for you. God has been good to me, and I have more than enough." Jacob urged the gifts on him, and Esau accepted. Then Esau said, "Let's start out on our own way, and I'll take the lead." But Jacob said, "My master can see that the children are frail, and that the flocks and herds are nursing, making for slow going. If I push them too hard, even for a day, I'll lose them. So, master, you go on ahead, and your servant and I will take it easy at the pace of my flocks and the children. I'll catch up with you in Seir." Esau said, "Let me at least lend you some of my men." "There's no need," said Jacob. "Your generous welcome is all I need or want." So Esau set out that day and made his way back to Seir. And Jacob left for Succoth. He built a shelter for himself and sheds for his livestock. That's how the place came to be called Succoth, which means sheds. And that's how it happened that Jacob arrived all in one place in Shechem, in the land of Canaan, all the way from Padam Aram. He camped near the city. He brought the land where he pitched his tent from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem. He paid 100 silver coins for it. Then he built an altar there and named it El Israel. Mighty is the God of Israel. One day, Dinah, the daughter of Leah, had given Jacob. Let's try that again. One day, Dinah, the daughter of Leah, had given Jacob. Okay, didn't sound right. Went to visit some of the women in the country, Shechem, the son of Hamor and Hivite, who was chieftain there, saw her and raped her. Then he felt a strong attraction to Dinah. Jacob's daughter fell in love with her, and he wooed her. Shechem went to his father Hamor, "Get me this girl for my wife." Jacob heard that Shechem had raped her daughter Dinah, but his sons were out in the fields with the livestock, so he didn't say anything until they got home. Hamor, Shechem's father, went to Jacob to work out marriage arrangements. Meanwhile, Jacob's sons, on their way back from the fields, heard what had happened. They were outraged, explosive with anger. Shechem's rape of Jacob's daughter was intolerable in Israel and not to be put up with. Hamor spoke with Jacob and his sons. "My son Shechem is head over heels in love with your daughter. Give her to him as my wife. Intermarry with us. Give your daughters to us, and we'll give you our daughters to you. Live together with us as one family. Settle down among us and make yourselves a home proper among us." Shechem then spoke for himself, addressing Dinah's father and brothers. "Please say yes. I'll pay anything. Set the bridal price as high as you will. The sky's the limit. Only give me the girl for my wife." Jacob's sons answered, "Shechem and his fathers were cunning. Their sister, after all, had been raped. They said, 'This is impossible. We could never give our sister to a man who was uncircumcised. Why, we'd be disgraced. The only condition on which we can talk business is if all of our men become circumcised like us. Then we will freely exchange daughters in marriage and make ourselves a home among you, and become one big happy family. But this is not acceptable condition. We will take our sisters and leave." That seemed fair enough to Hamor and the son of Shechem. The young man was so smitten with Jacob's daughter that he proceeded to do what he had been asked. He was also the most admired son in his father's family. So Hamor and his son Shechem went to the public square and spoke to the town council. "These men, like us, they are our friends. Let them settle down here and make themselves at home. There's plenty of room in the country for them, and just think, we can even exchange our daughters into marriage. But then these men will only accept our invitation to live with us and become one family on one condition, that all the males become circumcised just as they are themselves. This is a very good deal for us. These people are very wealthy with great herds of livestock, and we're going to get our hands on it. So let's do it. Let's do what they ask and have them settle down with us." Everyone who was alone in the city agreed with Hamor and his son Shechem. Every male was circumcised. 3 days after the circumcision, while all the men were still very sore, two of Jacob's sons, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brothers, each with a sword in hand, walked into the city as if they owned the place and murdered every male there. They also killed Hamor and his son Shechem, rescued Dinah from Shechem's house, and left. When the rest of Jacob's sons come on the scene of the slaughter, they looted the entire city in retaliation for Dinah's rape. Flocks, herds, donkeys, belongings, everything, whether in the city or in the fields, they took. And then they took all the wives and children captive and ransacked their homes for anything valuable. Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You've made my name repulsive to the people here. These Canaanites and Perizzites If they decide to gang up on us and attack as few as we are, we wouldn't stand a chance. They'd wipe me and my people right off the map. They said nobody is going to treat our sister like a whore and get away with it. Wow, that was a lot. So Genesis 32:13 through 33:11. This is the night Jacob stops running. He wrestles with God alone, afraid and exposed. God doesn't crush him, he changes him. God becomes Israel. Jacob becomes Israel, meaning one who wrestles with God. He leaves limped because he leaves limped but blessed. Then comes to the real miracle, reconciliation. Esau, the brother of Jacob, feared, runs to embrace him. The lesson: when God changes you on the inside, he can heal what you fear on the outside. Hmm. Jacob becomes Israel, meaning one who wrestles with God. Is that what's still going on today? Does Israel wrestle with God at the moment? It's kind of weird. Personal thoughts. Matthew 11:7 through 30. When John's disciples left to report, Jesus started talking to the crowd about John, What did you expect when you went out to see him in the wild? A weekend camper? Hardly. What then? A sheik in silk pajamas? Not in the wilderness, not by a long shot. What then? A prophet? That's right, a prophet. Probably the best prophet you'll ever hear. He is the prophet that Malachi announced when he wrote, I'm sending my prophet ahead of you to make the road smooth for you. Let me tell you what's going on here. No one in history surpasses John the Baptizer. But in the kingdom he prepared for you, the lowliest person is ahead of him. For a long time now, people have tried to force themselves into God's kingdom. But if you read the books of the prophets and God's law closely, you will see the climate in John. Teaming up with him in preparing for the way of the Messiah of the kingdom. Looked at in a way, John is the Elijah you've all been expecting to arrive and introduce the Messiah. That was a tongue twister. Are you listening to me, really listening? How can I account for this generation? The people have been like spoiled children whining to their parents. We wanted to skip rope, and you were always too tired. We wanted to talk, but you were always too busy. John came fasting, and they called him crazy. I came feasting, and they all called me a boozer, a friend of misfits. Opinion polls don't count for much, do they? The proof of the pudding is in the eating. Next, Jesus unleashed on the cities where he had worked the hardest, but whose people had responded the least, shrugging their shoulders and going their own way. Doom to you, Chorazin. Doom, Bethesda. If Tyre and Sidon have seen half of the powerful miracles you have seen, they would have been on their knees in a minute. At Judgment Day, they'll get off easy compared to you. And Capernaum, with all your peacock strutting, you're going to end up in the abyss. If the people of Sodom had your choice, the city would still be around. At Judgment Day, they'll get off easy compared to you. Abruptly, Jesus broke into prayer. Thank you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth. You've concealed your ways from sophisticates and know-it-alls, but spell them out clearly to ordinary people. Yes, Father, this is the way you like to work. Jesus resumed, talking to the people, but now tenderly. The Father has given me all things to do and say. This is a unique father-son operation coming out of a father and son intimacies and knowledge. No one knows the Son the way the Father does, nor the Father the way the Son does. But I'm not keeping it to myself. I'm ready to go over it line by line if anyone is willing to listen. Are you tired, worn out, burned out on religion? Come to me. Get away with me and you'll recover your life. I'll show you how to take a real rest, walk with me and work with me. Watch how I do it. Learn the unforced rhythm of grace. I won't lay anything heavy or ill-fitting on you. Keep company with me and you'll learn to live freely and lightly. Now the breakdown of Matthew 11:7 through 30. Jesus clarifies who John the Baptist really is, not weak, not confused, but faithful. Then he turns to the crowd and issues one of the greatest invitations ever. Come to me, all who are weary. Religion says, strive harder. Jesus says, rest in me. His yoke is easy because he carries the weight you never meant to bear. That's really deep. Come to me, all who are weary. Religion says, strive harder, but Jesus says, rest in me. Being in the still, I've been in there for about 3 years, and I need to be in the still. He carries the weight you were never meant to bear. Psalms 14, 1 through 7. Billows and bloated, they gas, God is gone. Their words are poisonous gas, fouling the air, they poison rivers and skies. Thistles are their cash crop. God sticks his head out of heaven, and he looks around. He looks for someone, not stupid, one man, even God expectant, just one God ready woman. He comes up empty, a string of zeros, useless, unsheep-herded sheep, taking turns pretending to be shepherd. The 99 follow the fellow. Don't they know anything? All the predators, don't they know that they get away with all of this? Treating people like fast food meal over which they're too busy to pray. Night is coming for them and nightmares, for God takes the side of victims. Do you think you can mess with the dreams of the poor? You can't, for God makes their dreams come true. If there anyone around to save Israel, yes, God is around. God turns life around. Turned around, Jacob skips rope. Turned around, Israel sings laughter. So the breakdown of Psalms 14, 1 through 7 says this psalm calls out the root of the problem of humanity, living as if God doesn't matter. Foolishness isn't lack of intelligence, it's moral blindness. Yet God still looks down, searching for anyone who seeks him. The chapter ends with hope. Salvation is coming, and God will restore his people. Lastly, it's Proverbs 3, 21 through 26. Dear friend, guard clear thinking and common sense with your life. I'm going to read that again. Dear friend, guard clear thinking and common sense with your life. Don't for a minute lose sight of them. They'll keep your soul alive and well. They'll keep you fit and attractive. You'll travel safely. You'll neither tire nor trip. You'll take afternoon naps without worry. You'll enjoy a good night's sleep. No need to panic over alarms or surprises or predictions that doomsday is just around the corner. Because God will be right here with you. He'll keep you safe and sound. So the breakdown for Proverbs 3, 21 through 26 says, wisdom isn't just acknowledged, it's protection. When you keep God's wisdom close, fear loses its grip. You walk securely, sleep peacefully, and stand confident because the Lord himself is your confidence. Wow, let's read that again. Proverbs 3, 21 through 26 says, wisdom isn't just knowledge, it's protection. When you keep God's wisdom close, fear loses its grip. You walk securely, sleep peacefully, and stand confident because the Lord himself is your confidence. Wow, very deep. Folks, enjoy your evening. I love you. I will see you tomorrow. It'll be January 17th. We'll go through this again. We'll read Genesis, Matthew, Psalms, and Proverbs, and we'll get through the Bible in a year together. Y'all have a good evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.